and the backbone of IAP Kerala, and respected Dr. V.K. Goyal sir, Chairperson of the National Medicolegal Group, Dr. Sonia Kanitkar Madam, the Secretary of the National Medicolegal Group, and Dr. Ranjit, South Zone EB member of National Medicolegal Group, Dr. Johnny Sebastian, Secretary IAP Kerala, and Dr. Mohan Das, my best friend and the President of IAP Calicut, Dr. Jose O, the President-elect of IAP Kerala, Dr. Narayana Naik, Vice President of IAP Kerala, and past Presidents Dr. Jayaraman Sir and Dr. Narayanan Sir, and all other senior faculty members and my best friends. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this program. This is the state level inauguration of Presidential Action Plan of 2022 Promise. M stands for Medicolegal Awareness Among Pediatricians. That is the need of the hour. And we know how to treat a patient, but we don't know. Suppose the patient goes to court, we will get perplexed and confused. So there are so many do's and don'ts in the medical legal aspect a doctor should know. And that is why it has put very important part of our presidential action plan. And I am very happy to see that all the national leaders are here, and our own Ranjit is the South Zone EB member, and with all your help, I think we can have a very good academic feast for this year, and that will help our pediatricians to know many things about the medical legal aspect, so that they can plan their how to write the case sheet and all these things. They will be well versed with it. I congratulate Calicut team to take this as their one of the major program, and I am very happy that this is going to be inaugurated in January itself, and I wish the program all success. Jai Hind, JIAP.
Thank you, sir. Now we go on to the official inauguration of today's program. It gives me great pleasure and it's a great honor to invite our very own captain of IAP Kerala, who has been at the helm of all activities that IAP Kerala has witnessed, Dr. Sachidananda Kamath sir. As all of you know, sir does not need any introduction on its own. He has been the national president of 2015 of Central IAP and has held various positions as the president, secretary, and the national executive member of IAP Kerala. As Dr. Ranjit rightly said, he is the backbone of IAP Kerala. His untiring efforts has brought laurels to our state, and he continues to be our pillar of support. Sir, I invite you on behalf of the whole family of IAP Kerala and the Medical Legal Group to inaugurate today's function.
A very good evening to you all. Thanks, Manjusha, for the kind words which you have explained. I am not the backbone. There are a lot of many persons who have started this for the last 50 to
സച്ചി മ്യൂട്ടായി പോയല്ലോ. ഇപ്പൊ കേക്കാം. അല്ല, അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തു, കേക്കത്തില്ലല്ലോ.
സച്ചി സാർ അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ആണ്, പക്ഷെ കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല സാറേ.
കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല, ഇപ്പൊ കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല.
റേഞ്ചിന് എന്താ കുഴപ്പമാണെന്നോ? റേഞ്ച്
ഇല്ല, കുഴപ്പമില്ല. ഫോണിലാണ്, അതുകൊണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Okay. Thanks, Manjusha, for your kind words. And it is a team effort for the last 50 years. We have developed this IAP great heights, and I am part of it fully. President of today's function, Dr. Mohandas, President of IAP Kozhikode branch. Our dear President of IAP Kerala, Dr. Vijay Kumar. National Medical Legal Cell Office Bearers, Chairman and Secretary, Dr. V.K. Goyal, Dr. Sonia Kanitkar. Faculty, Dr. George F. Mulel, Chairperson of Medical Legal, Chairperson of the Medical Awareness Program, Dr. Ranjit. EB members and President-elect Dr. Jose, EB members, National EB member Dr. Narayanan, Dr. Riyas, Dr. Nandakumar, our dear Secretary Dr. Johnny, past President Dr. Jayaraman, other senior colleagues, my dear friends, dear colleagues in this platform. It gives me immense pleasure to be here in this program within a month of taking over as the president of IAP Kerala State. Vijay Kumar has shown that his promise has started working, and it is the promise which he has given when he took over as the president of IAP Kerala State. And in this, M stands for Medicolegal also, various other programs also, and I have been part of it. So thanks a lot for calling me for this program, which is need of the hour, as mentioned by Dr. Vijay Kumar. And we all know there are various issues related to the medical legal. I wish that this will be taken forward by the every branch of the state. As you all know that today's program, that is two persons who have really worked and the skill, that is communication skill by Dr. Sonia, and legal and ethical issues by Dr. George F. Mulel is so well need of the hour of today's context, which we all know what is issuing every other day. In one of the studies, in Crico's strategy study investigated 23,000 medical malpractice lawsuits and found that 7,000 attributed to the communication failure. That shows that 30% is due to the communication failure. Yet another study, it shown that 80% of the serious medical errors were a result of miscommunication. Communication leads to the physician and nurses and clinician and patients. Stanford medicine study in the pediatric hospitals developed a tool to look into what is the issues, and adverse events preventable were detected by 30%. So this is a major issue which we all know, that communication skill, every person, and now the government also and the MCI, now the National Council also has accepted that the curriculum has to start with the MBBS itself, the communication and the legal aspect, medical. So this is becoming a real issue. My request to the chairperson and the secretary, today's chairperson, national chairperson, is please try to bring out a book on something which has the medical legal and update it, and every 2 years or something bring out a book on medical legal documentation and what is pertaining to the medical legal issues. Please come out with a book this year and make sure that it is gone to the every person or every member or every pediatrician of this country. With these words, I officially inaugurate this program and wishing all of you a great academic as well as the medical as well as the communication skill to improve our quality as well as the medical aspects of today's program. Wishing you all the best and the speakers of the day too. Thank you, and thank you for calling me for this program to inaugurate. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have our guests of honor, the office bearers of our. Hello. Dr. Ranjit, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Audible.
Thank you. Sorry for the glitch there. So it's great pleasure and honor to have Dr. V.K. Goyal. Sir is the chairperson of the National Medicolegal Group 2021-22. As Dr. Ranjit said, Sir has been giving us support 24/7 in organizing this program and setting up our medical legal group in our state. Sir has held the position of the Director and HOD of Pediatrics, and he's also the chairperson of the Central Medical Legal Group. He's also held the positions of the President of IAP and IMA of East Delhi. Sir, inviting you for your address on the special occasion.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the invitation. Good evening to everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today with IAP Kozhikode and IAP Kerala branch. I thank the President IAP Kozhikode, Dr. Mohandas Nair, Secretary Dr. Ajay V, and Treasurer Dr. Syed. I also thank President IAP Kerala, Dr. Vijay Kumar, Secretary Dr. Johnny, and Treasurer Dr. Gopi Mohan. I also thank to be here with Dr. Sonia ma'am and our EV member, Dr. Ranjit. First of all, I thank Kerala IAP for starting IAP President Action Plan with Medicolegal CME, with the topic of medico-legal awareness among pediatricians. This is awaresome. Really, it's a commendable job done. We daily learn topics on various academic interests as respiratory, GI, endocrine, neuro, and so on. But this medico-legal knowledge is nowhere. And this is something beyond that academic knowledge. We all are qualified pediatricians with postgraduate qualification. We all know our subject very well, but definitely we have to brush up our knowledge regularly. But medical legal knowledge is lacking among all of us. Medical legal knowledge teaches us how to write prescription properly. We write prescription daily, but how to write prescription properly beyond any conflict, it teaches us. Put proper indoor notes, how to write, how to talk with the patient in emergency situations, how to get consent, and what to write in consent. And there are a number of things what we have to know here on daily basis. We are encountering these situations and we have to learn all the things. Further, on consent, we all know taking consent is important, but we all are pediatricians. We all are not doing any major surgery. We are not doing gallbladder. We are not doing appendectomy. We are not doing abdominal laparoscopy. For what consent is needed here for pediatricians? The important thing is we are doing pleural tap. We are doing ascites tap. We are doing LPs. We are stitching the wounds, small wounds. Here the consent is important. As for gallbladder, the consent is same consent is important here also. Further, police information. Most of us are practicing in our clinics. Police information is very important even in clinic. If a roadside accident patient comes to us, we do the dressing, but the police information is a must. If poisoning patient come to us, we refer the patient to the hospital, but police information is a must at the first entrance of the patient. We all know there is a breach between doctor and patient relationship nowadays. Even one entering the hospital clinic wants 100% positive outcome. Even everyone wants world-class services at negligible cost. You will agree with me that even after 75 years of independence, there is not a single government hospital matching Apollo or Medanta. People point out our medical or other deficiencies when they have to pay and start comparing small setups with corporate decor and facilities. Lack of knowledge of law is not an excuse. Via Medical Legal Group, we try to impart legal knowledge regularly, and at national level, we are doing monthly CMEs as we are planning. We are also doing regular CMEs. We all can do in combination. This will be great help to our pediatricians all over India. We are fortunate to have our great presidents every year of Central IAP. This year, Dr. Ramesh has started a new trend of giving us guidelines on various medical disorders. This is a very important step. Every guideline is there in every textbook, but this guideline is concised, is compact. And if we treat the patient according to the guidelines, we write down these treatment guidelines, we treat the patient, nobody can sue us. And this is important in court of law also. Friends, I again say I am a phone call away. I help the people, I help the pediatricians 24/7. I said, we treat the people regularly, but once there is something happens, patient is over you, he speaks something, people don't know how to talk. Number of people call me, I help them how to tackle the situation. This year we are getting guidelines on from last December. I have started Medicolegal tips of the week to all Delhi IAP pediatricians, and I am planning to start this tip of the week to all IAP 35,000 members very soon with the help of Central IAP. The Consumer Protection Act, we all know, is there, 2019, with certain changes that came into force on 20th July 2020. And most of the people think we are out of CPA, but this is not there. We are still covered under the Consumer Protection Act. And some more stringent laws are there on us. Everybody has to be ready with all these things. Thank you, everyone. Thanks again. I am eager to listen all the faculty here. Thanks again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir, for your address. Now I invite Dr. Sonia Kanitkar. Madam is the Honorable Secretary of the National Medicolegal Group of IAP, the Central IAP. Madam has been closely associated with IAP Kerala. I remember hearing about medico-legal aspects in pediatrics for the first time from Madam. So she has been closely associated with IAP Kerala and IAP Kozhikode. And it's a proud moment to have you here, Madam. Madam has been the Honorary Secretary for our group and has been the Organizing Secretary and has deep connections in the medico-legal aspects of IAP, and she's doing great work in the group. She's also held the positions of the Vice President, Secretary, and organized many conferences and has been a leader in all senses. Madam, over to you for your address.
Thank you, Dr. Manjusha, because Master of Ceremonies is very important. So I have to impress you first. Thank you so much, Manjusha. You're doing very well. And I will come to the most important person, Dr. S.S. Kamath. As I remember him from 2015, that was a presidential year which cannot be forgotten. So my regards to you, sir, that you are here today to listen to us. I also want to welcome and I also want to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Vijay Kumar, who is an old friend of mine. We started since 2011 when I first held my first zonal TOT, and he was the first person to reach there, and he was very encouraging. So I remember him from then on. And he is now the president of Kerala State, and he is now helping Medicolegal Group also very much. Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Kumar. I really acknowledge it. I also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Gopi Mohan, Treasurer of IAP Kerala. I acknowledge Dr. Mohandas Nair, the President of Kozhikode, whose efforts today have led to us being here. So thank you so much, Dr. Mohandas Nair. And Dr. Ajay, who is the secretary, and obviously I know that secretary has to run around to organize everything. So thank you so much, Dr. Ajay. And Dr. Saeed, who is the treasurer. We need all the money to organize also. So I acknowledge his presence too. Obviously, Dr. Ranjit has been the person behind all this. He's a very dynamic young person, and I think he's going to go very far. He works hard and he works in a very organized way. I acknowledge the presence of Dr. Jayaraman. He has been there last year also with us and was very, very helpful to us. Dr. Ashraf is also there, and many more, Dr. Nanda Kumar, Dr. Manjush, Dr. Narayanan, Dr. Jose, and so many, Dr. Bala, and I think Dr. Ramesh also, I heard he's there, but I am not able to see in this window. So I acknowledge the presence of all the stalwarts who are here with us. I'm sorry if I have not taken anybody's name. At the outset now, I would say that our National Medico-Legal Group, we took over in January 2021. And since then, me and Dr. Goel sir, we thought that knowledge is the first thing that has to go to every doctor, whether he's a specialist or a general practitioner or just an MBBS. Because today, each patient is a litigant. Please note this word which I say today. Never treat any relative without documenting. Even if you give them free treatment, we don't mind, but never get emotional. The same patient can come back as a litigant if, God forbid, anything wrong happens to that patient. I have learned this over last almost 30 to 32 years of my practice. And now being in the medical legal field, I see these such cases day in and day out. There is no friendship, there is no relative and all these things today in our medical legal world. It is totally a legally charged world today. Just recently on 26th, we had a CME on Consumer Protection Act. It was not a very well understood act. So, and I invited the experts from all over India and they spoke the practical aspects of CPA. Of course, Dr. Goel sir has already said that healthcare is still there and we can still be sued by any patient. In fact, the government has made it very easy for the people to sue us. They can sue us online. I think this will be a piece of news for everyone. They can actually go to an online website and they can sue us. It has become that easy. They don't have to pay any fees if it is less than 5 lakh compensation. Nothing at all. And even if it is more than that, they have to pay just rupees 1,000. So please, I am requesting with folded hands today, please do not bring emotions in your practice. Second thing, last year, we did all the basics of medical legal issues, which means first we need to prepare our doctors with knowledge about doing things right. Right? So what we did in the first year was to teach them about CDC, that means consent, documentation, and communication. The 3 pillars of medical legal. And then the last one, which we have added for the purpose that we remember, is documentation of communication, which you do to any patient or relative at any given time. Sometimes the patient just comes to you and he just talks leisurely to you and this, you are talking to him, some permission is granted and all, but you do not document it. Remember, even the smallest of permission, the smallest of things talk to the relatives, they can really be helpful. Take a written consent. Take the signature of the relative if patient is not available. Take signature of 2 witnesses. So, in the first year, 2021, we have held all CMEs regarding consent, documentation, communication, and in my conference, MedLegCon 2021, we have done coverage of all again. It was like a revision, plus we have also covered medical legal cases. Doctors are very much afraid of medical legal cases. As soon as a murder case comes to you, injured case, as soon as a poison case comes, it has to become medical legal. And our doctors, they get on tenterhooks, what to do, how to go about it. Should we inform the police? What will the police do? Police is going to trouble me all the time. These are the questions which many people have asked me. And that is why I took that step to go for MLC. And now even in Pedicon, Dr. Santosh Sohan sir, he chose this topic of MLC, and Dr. George Mulail and we are all going to deal with that. So friends, medical legal issues are to be dealt with first by doing the things right. That is CDC, I repeat again. And now this year, from January 22 onward, we are planning to make our doctors learn about the law. This is our aim in the second year of our office. That is to bring law to the doors of the doctors so that they are not afraid of law. They are not afraid of medical legal issues. If they do the things right with right consent, right communication, right documentation, then they do not have to be afraid of law. That's what we are teaching in this year. The first CME was held just 2 days back on 26 on Consumer Protection Act. It was a great success, and I think we have started our step ladder up. So the take-home message that I would say just now is, once again, CDC, and don't be afraid of practicing. This is for all the junior doctors here. I am really sad to see that our junior doctors, the PG, they are really getting discouraged. Let me tell them that we are with them. And also I want to bring out one more piece of information. What we have done in last year, we have written to the Prime Minister also. We have written along with our parent IAP and our medical legal group. We have written a letter to the Prime Minister calling him to give us immunity. That means immunity during the COVID times. Because we all know that MBBS doctor has also worked, and pediatrician has worked in adult wards. You know, so many things have been adjusted and done. So somebody has to stand up for those things. Obviously, wrongs have happened because it was such a disaster kind of a situation. So we are taking from our sides all steps to save our doctors, to make them know what exactly they have to do, to bring about best knowledge to them. But ultimately, the onus lies on each and every doctor who is here. Please become members of Medical Legal Group and also attend each and every CME. I also want to appreciate Dr. Vijay Kumar for this beautiful step he has taken. The right time for doing medical legal CMEs every month. They are really going to help us. Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay, once again, and all these stalwarts who are involved in this process. Because this is the need of the hour, as Dr. Vijay also said. We need it now, and we will need it for the next almost 10 years, because we are seeing the effects of COVID now. You see, COVID has still not ended, but already litigations have become more and more. I think Dr. George Mulail will agree with me because he is practicing law. Right, sir? Already there is an increase in law-related, the compensation-related suing. So we all need to really buck up. And with those words, I will say thanks once again for inviting me as a guest of honor, and we can continue the program.
Thank you, madam, for those kind words. Now, for the felicitations, I invite Dr. Joso. Sir is the president-elect of IAP Kerala and the national EB member. Joe, sir, please.
Thank you. Good evening to all, everybody. Respected President of today meeting chairperson, Dr. Mohandas sir, IAP Kerala State President, Dr. Vijay Kumar sir, our mentor and National IAP President 2015, Dr. S.S. Thomas sir, Medicolegal National Chairperson, Dr. V.K. Goel, Secretary Sonia ma'am, and our patron of our father of Medicolegal of IAP Kerala, Dr. George F. Muley, immediate past president, Dr. Jayaraman TP, our national EB member, Dr. Narayan sir, Dr. Andakumar, Dr. Riaz, our state secretary, Dr. Johnny Vincent, and IAP Kozhikode Branch Secretary Dr. Achi, the Chairperson of Medicolegal Awareness Program Dr. Ranjit, and all the senior members of the IAP Kerala national level, and my dear friends. It is great pleasure and privilege me to participate this state level inauguration of the Promise Action Plan medical legal aspects. The previous speakers have mentioned the medical legal aspect is very important of the need of the hour. We have lot of CME program to enlightening us of the guideline for various treatment plans, but still now we are lagging lot of guidelines and recommendation for medical legal how to deal with the medical aspect of these programs. I remembering the IAP Kottayam when I was Kottayam secretary, Dr. Mulel sir in 2003. I think that is the first I heard about the medical importance of medical legal aspect of practice. So he narrated the importance of how to document, importance of documentation. If you do in the proper way, you are very safe in if you get a litigation about the legal issues and all. In this COVID era also, there are a lot of issues are coming in the regarding the medical legal aspects, especially the aspect of communication problems. I think the National Medical Board now the new curriculum of undergraduate teaching program, competence-based medical education. I think there is more given importance to importance of communication skill and more awareness about the legal aspect for undergraduates and MBS curriculums. I think that time during the general practitioners will know how to communicate the patients, how to convey the message to patient, how to the legally how we can protect that, documentation, everything. That is very well mentioned the curriculum of undergraduate curriculum in coming years. Of course, we have lot of training program. I think that Dr. Vijay Kumar taken the right topic for the awareness, making the awareness so that our pediatricians about the medical legal aspects. I think this program will be very useful for the general practitioners and practicing pediatrician and all the branches. I think this program should be conducted all the branches to narrate, motivate the pediatrician and make them ensure the importance of legal aspect to be protected for every day-to-day practice. I wish that Dr. Vijay Kumar and Dr. Johnny Vincent and all the office bearers of IAP 2022 given a promise action plan. It's very important for their day-to-day practice. I think I wish all the success of the program. I wish Vijay Kumar all the best for his action plan, all the promise action plan. It will be very useful for the common pediatricians and general practitioners. I wish him all the success. Jai Hind, JAP. Good night.
Thank you, sir, for your words. Now I invite Jayaraman, sir, the immediate past president of IAP Kerala, for his felicitations. Please, sir.
Good evening, everybody, respected seniors, colleagues, and friends. I'm very happy to participate in this inaugural function of Promise, Dr. Vijay Kumar's action plan, as well as the inaugural session on medico-legal issues in pediatric practice. And I congratulate the organizers for arranging this very important session as the inaugural function. Actually, we had been planning to organize the Medicolegal chapter of IAP Kerala for a long time, but somehow it was not materialized. And I hope Ranjit and his team will make it a reality this year at least, because medico-legal issues in practice are very important during these days. As somebody says, when the Consumer Protection Act was enacted way back, IMA went to the Supreme Court to with the question of whether this is covered, our profession is covered on this. And now it is very sure that CPA, even the newer version, is covered by the covering the medical practice. And this is here to stay. And we all have to adjust to the reality that we are living in a world where at any time you can be sued. And as Dr. Sonia put every patient have to be seen as a possible litigant, and you have to be prepared to face the consequences when it arises. So it's a very important topic, and I request all those are here to join the medical legal group, and I invite all of you to join this group, which is a very vibrant group at the national level, and it will be very useful in our practice. So please do join this group. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I wish the very best for the promise as well as the medical legal sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite George F. Mulail, sir. Sir is a patron of the Kerala Medical Legal Group and our constant advisor on all our medical legal issues. Inviting you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear
Okay.
you.
My dear friends and colleagues in the academy, I'm not going to do salutations to save time. So you are all my friends. Actually, I'm very happy that Vijay Kumar has brought out this program in his presidential action plan, because this is something which is well needed to practice our profession nowadays. And it's a good thing Ranjit and Dr. Mohandas have arranged this program. And I'm sure that people will benefit out of this one day. And I just want to add a few more things. You know, I too used to give importance to communication, consent, documentation, etc. in the beginning. Now you have to think of something else also, because one thing is very important. You have to adhere to the standard of care given to the patient. That is very important, because you have to adhere to the standard of care. So we have to enlighten on that part also. Of course, the academic program and the program started by Ramesh is going to help in that one, because what is negligence is that falling standard of care. So we have to think about that also. And then our professionals should know what to do in certain situations. So that awareness also should be there. I know that now we have only 25 members in Kerala. Actually, I was one of the founder members. And in the initial stages, we had brought on books at the national level. Satish Tiwari, Mahesh Balda, myself, we all have contributed in that one. Now it is high time that we have to bring out certain booklets like that. We have brought, regarding child rights, we have brought a book in Kerala. Actually, Dr. Akshay Kumar had taken a lot of interest in that. So like that, we have to give knowledge, we have to inform. And once we increase the membership to more than 100, we have to make all these people aware of what is going to happen, what they should know, so that the doctors can approach them for advice. Because instead of coming to a central person, I am getting a lot of questions every day, most of the days at least. Even yesterday, one of the person who is sitting in this meeting had called me to clarify so many doubts yesterday. So that way, awareness should be there, and all the members should be aware of what advice they should give also. And I'm sure meeting like that, like this, is going to help, because we will take separate topics one by one to enlighten. And Ranjit is planning to have a monthly CMA on medical legal issues, and I'm sure that he will do, because he's a firebrand. So he will do it in a nice way, and I'm sure that the estimate which he has given is 100, but I think it is going to be on the the lower side. I am sure that he's going to bring more than 200 members this year. So all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So as sir said, let's have more than 100 members this year itself in our medical legal group and have a great start to our branch. Now I invite Dr. Narayana Naik, sir. He's a Vice President of IAP Kerala, for his felicitations. Sir, please. Narayan, sir. Narayana Naik, sir. I think we'll wait for sir to come. So I go forward. I invite Nandakumar sir, the National EB member from IAP Kerala, for sir's felicitations. Nandakumar sir, you're muted, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, respected President IAP Kozhikode, Dr. Mohandas, State President, my best friend, Dr. Vijay Kumar, State Secretary, Dr. Johnny, Kamath sir, and other dignitaries on this platform. It's a great pleasure and privilege for me to be a part of inaugural ceremony of this Presidential Action Plan 2020, and also to be a part of this discussion on a very important aspect of our day-to-day practice, that is medico-legal awareness on pediatrics. But I am little worried after seeing the attendance. It is only around 60. That is not, I think we have to definitely improve. That denotes that our colleagues are not yet aware about all this importance of these medico-legal aspects. So I think our this IAP Kerala should take very make to spread this awareness among our pediatricians. It's our duty. Thank you very much. I wish all the very best for this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next EB member, Narayan sir. Sir has conveyed his best wishes for the group. Sir is moderating another CME simultaneously. We'll wait for sir. In case sir reaches before we close the inaugural session, we'll have his address also. Now I invite Riyaz sir, the national EB member, for sir's felicitations. I think sir's not here in this platform with us now. We'll wait for him. Ajit Kumar sir has been a constant support for IAP Kerala and IAP Kozhikode. Sir is here with us today. Sir, inviting you for your kind words.
Thank you, Manjusha. And I am not prolonging this program. So wishing all the best for this. I am sure that this will pave the way for future directions, how we should treat, how we should communicate, and how we should tell the parents the bad news, breaking the bad news and everything, so that we may not be in a fix or in a lawsuit. I'm sure that this CME will be a great eye-opener for all of us. Thank you, Manjusha.
Thank you, sir. Next, I invite Johnny Sebastian, sir, a very vibrant secretary of IAP Kerala, for his address.
Good evening. Good evening, all. Respected Chair, dear Mohandas, sir, vibrant secretary of IAP Kozhikode, Dr. Ajay, my leader and guide in state IAP, Dr. Vijay Kumar, sir, the man behind the action plan promise, President IAP Kerala, Dr. S.S. Kamath, sir, patron of IAP Kerala and past national president, Jayaraman, sir, IPP, and Narayanan, sir, past state president, Jose, sir, the president-elect IAP Kerala, Dr. V.K. Goyal, sir, and Dr. Sonia Kanitkar, madam, chairperson and secretary of National Medicolegal Group, Dr. George F. Mulil, sir, the patron of Medicolegal Action Plan, as well as the new Chief Election Commissioner of IAP Kerala, my friend and teammate in IAP Kerala, the South Zone EB member of National Medicolegal Group, Dr. Ranjit, other seniors, and my dear colleagues who have joined on this platform today. I'm extremely happy to be here today to give felicitations for the state level inauguration of the M component of the Presidential Action Plan promise to create an awareness on the medico-legal problems among pediatricians. I congratulate the action plan coordinators as well as the state medico-legal group for organizing this webinar to create an awareness as well as to enlighten the pediatricians of the state on various medico-legal issues which they come across these days in their day-to-day practice, rising every day these days. I wish this webinar all success and also all the participants present here today a great learning experience. Thank you. Jai Hind, JIAP. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we come to the end of the official inaugural function of the Medicolegal Group of IAP Kerala. And I hope with all the spirit and the blessings of all the seniors present here, we'll do a great job this year. So to propose the word of thanks, I invite Dr. Ajay V, the part and parcel and a great part of IAP Kozhikode. Dr. Ajay. There's also the
Uh,
secretary of IAP Kozhikode inviting you.
Thank you, Dr. Manjusha. I'm not wasting much time. Firstly, I would like to thank IAP Kerala for giving us the opportunity to IAP Kozhikode for hosting the inaugural ceremony of medical legal awareness. I thank Dr. Vijay Kumar sir, President IAP Kerala, and the Secretary Joni Sebastian sir for that. And I would like to thank Dr. S.S. Kamath sir, National President Central IAP, for inaugurating the session, sir. And sir has been the backbone of IAP Kerala and all the support to IAP Kozhikode for all our activities. Thank you, sir. Also like to thank our guest of honors, Dr. V.K. Goyal, sir, and Dr. Sonia, Chairperson and Secretary of National Medical Legal Group 2021-2022. And also thank our EB members, Dr. Jose sir, Dr. Narayanan sir, Dr. Riya sir, Dr. Nandakumar sir, for the valuable words and felicitations. And also Dr. Jayaraman sir, our past president of IAP Kerala. And also thank Dr. George of Moritz sir, patron Medical Legal Action Plan, IAP Kerala, and who will be continuing with the CME sessions. Thank you, sir. And also from on behalf of IAP Kozhikode, we would like to assure IAP Kerala and Medical Legal Group that we won't be stopping with this inaugural ceremonies and inaugural hosting inaugural part. We'll be going ahead with much further plans involving the postgraduates. We'll be having more physical meetings and increasing the awareness of medical legal aspects. And with the help of Dr. Ranjit, Chairperson Medical Legal Awareness Plan, and the President IAP Kozhikode Mohandas sir, we'll be going ahead with further plans. Thank you, everyone. So we'll be going for the CME sessions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay. So without wasting much time, we are going into the academic sessions of the day. So this is our first of the monthly series of talks that are going to come. So it's great privilege to have our very own Secretary of the National Medical Legal Group, Sonia Madam, to kickstart our monthly CMEs for the year. Madam,
Thank you.
I invite you for your talk today. Madam will be speaking to us on communication skills. As Joseph rightly said, it's time when we have started teaching the principles of communication to our medical students in the form of the EdCom modules which are there. So there could be none other than Sonia Madam to speak to us about how to communicate and what are the fallacies and what pediatricians should be aware of. Madam, over to you.
Thank you. So can you stop sharing the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So good evening to everyone once again. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just 1 minute. I will stop the share because I have some videos, so I will just start sharing again. I have to put this share sound first, yeah, and then it will come. Yeah, so can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we are going to talk today about the most important thing in medical, all the issues, and that is communication skills. We have all heard about it. We all do the communication, but what is the right way to do? That is what we are going to learn. Now, medicine was an art and it was a science. And of course, there was some amount of money involved. But now in medical field, we have law as the major thing which has come up. So if we combine the brains of Manmohan Singh ji and the oratorship of our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, then I think that is what we mean by the best type of communication. So why do we need this communication? There are many reasons. Of course, to prevent litigation is the most important reason, but there are other things like more time with the patients means the patient is more satisfied. They get better. They feel the doctor-patient relationship is better. And then these satisfied patients, they can do the tests and procedures, whatever you say, they will follow your instructions. And thus it will result in better care. It also saves money on unnecessary interventions because you don't have to unnecessarily prove to the patient if you can communicate it properly. It prevents avoidable misdiagnosis, mistreatments, and misunderstandings. Exaggerated media reports are also prevented if we are able to communicate properly with the patient and the media alike. Now, there are certain rights of the patients which we all know and we have to follow to get proper medical attention, compassionate human behavior, information and explanation is their right, and proper follow-up with the doctors who has treated. And then preventive information means after treatment, whether the patient can prevent a similar episode of disease happening, and explanation why we are referring the patient, and also attention and hearing if he has some complaints that something wrong has happened. So you have not done this, you have not done that, the other doctor was telling this. So all these things we have to explain to the patient without any irritation. To refuse treatment or trial is not in our favor, but it is a patient has the right to refuse treatment. Remember this. Now, what is consent? Now, as I said that last year we have done a lot of CMEs on consent. Consent and communication are the two main reasons why a lot of litigations happen against doctors. So I'm going to just give you a little bit about the consent. One who consents cannot complain. That means if you have taken the consent of the patient after informing him about the disease, about the diagnosis, about the treatment, then he cannot complain to you that you have not done so. Act of reasoning and deliberation happens with the consent. Also, when the patient comes to your clinic, it is like an implied consent. And when you are going for a surgery or any procedure for the patient, then a written informed consent is very important. Then there are other consents like exceeding consent and various other, surgical ways of taking consent. That is a lot of details which I'm not going to go into today. The only exception when we don't need to take a consent of a patient is emergency. That is where we can use our own judgment to do the care of the patient. Second, if there is court order for this patient or in the public interest or by statute, that is, for example, like prime ministers and all these people who have such a high statute that their consent is not required. They are public, public people. So now informed consent, how it has to be done, very important. Just a few words about it. It has to tell it, first of all, it has to be comprehensible. Now, most of course, Kerala doesn't face this problem because they're all educated here and I'm proud of it. So you will not have that kind of a problem of comprehensibility. But in states like UP and in other states, it is a big problem. Even though you explain to the patient properly, the uneducated patient is not able to understand. So this has to be done in a proper dialect of the patient, in the most simplest of the languages, non-medical terms, and local language, as I said, dialects. Now, what we have to tell in the consent? We have to tell them what is the diagnosis, even though they may not understand, but you have to tell them in simple words what exactly has happened to the patient. What are we going to do to the patient? What may happen, that is the complications which may happen because of either the medicine or because of the disease itself. The prospects of success. I'm not saying prognosis, but I'm saying prospects of success. The patients and the relatives are always interested in knowing my patient, whether he will be all right or not all right, whether he's going to die or he's going to live. So this is the most important aspect where we must spend some time, give it a thought, and then only speak out words. Sometimes I have seen some of the NICU doctors, they will just say, no, this newborn is going to die. And when that newborn really survives, yes, the patient is grateful, but they also ask this question, you were saying that the child is going to die, and they're angry. So you see, both sides of the coin we have to see. Communication is a very, very sharp sword with two sides. Remember that. Now, we have to tell them about prognosis. If the procedure is performed or if the procedure is not performed, what will happen? What they have to take the decision, whether the procedure should be done or not done, and what are the implications. What are the alternative methods of treatment? Suppose the patient says, I cannot afford this operation. Is there any alternative method? Please, you have to be ready to listen to the patient. You don't say, no, I've told you, this is the only method. You have to go by it. I don't care. I don't know what is alternative. No, please. We cannot become emotional or egoistic. We have to give them an alternative. Today, they have internet. They have all the knowledge from the internet, whether it is good, bad, or wrong or right, but they have something in their minds. And we have to really be very careful when we speak out words. This was a case of Shrivam and this. In this case, what happened is that removal of appendix was done, but because it had spread to the right ovary and part of fallopian tube was also removed. So the patient, the complainant, who was advocate herself, she said that this was done wrongly and without her consent. But what saved Dr. Shrivam was that he said that consent was already taken for another operation to be performed in the interest of her health. And so no negligence at any stage of operation was charged to the doctor. See how the simple communication and the simple documentation of the consent has saved this doctor. Now, we have to also explain misunderstandings, mispresentations by giving proper examples. Sometimes the patient is not able to understand just by words. I will be explaining soon that what is the percentage of words understood and all. So we have to sometimes explain them by making figures, by telling them by words, by showing them presentations on the laptop. Any method which can be used has to be used. Queries have to be dealt with. Even the relatives, if they come and ask questions again and again, we have to be patient and talk to them very patiently. Now, today is an era of e-patients. We all know, and we all have this headache all the time. We are always afraid that when this patient comes and tells, oh, I've already made the diagnosis. I've read all this thing in the internet and I have made the diagnosis. And see what has come out of diagnosis in this cartoon. You can see he comes and say, it turns out that I have a sprained uterus, So the information that is there on the internet may be half cooked, it may be wrong, but the patient is under the impression that he has learned a lot and he himself has become a doctor and he can decide. So as doctors, we have to first of all fill in the right information to the patient and then tell them to take a decision, informed and intelligent decision. So that means we have a need to react in a very positive manner, not by anger. Oh my God, these internet patients are very troublesome. I agree. In our profession, everybody agrees. All doctors agree. But we cannot show them our anger. We have to be positive. We have to warn them that on the internet, what is written is variable and it may not be reliable. And that's how the communication to the patient will go, that the final word and the actual true word is of the doctor. Now, I was going to tell you what communication actually is composed of. We all know when I'm talking right now, I am talking some words. These words are only 7% of my communication. But my voice, my modulation of the voice, my way of talking, the expression, the emotions in my voice, that makes you feel 38% of the communication. Then my visual body language. Of course, on the internet, you can't see my body language, but when the patient sits right across on the table, when we are doing physical consultations, they can see whether my hands are like this, showing a very rude kind of a, stature. If I put my hand like this, it shows that I'm a very rude person, arrogant person, and the patient already becomes hostile. If I put my hands right on my lap and I'm having a nice smiling impression on my face, that is a good body language. The patient will be ready to listen to you. And so the body language constitutes almost 55% of the communication. And so the first visit, the initial encounter is crucial. That is almost like love at first sight for the doctor-patient relationship. And it's a building block, as I said, for patient and doctor to work further. Now, most of the communication ways, this I have already told, so no need to go into this. So spoken words are not very important, as I have already shown. Only 7% of the spoken words are there, and that also 70%. I have to tell you this, that 70% of all communication efforts, whether by words, by body language, by vocal modulations, all 70% of that communication effort goes misunderstood, misinterpreted, rejected, disliked, distorted, not heard. Whether it's in the same language, same culture, but this is the truth. 70%. So now let us come to now some positive thing. Till now, I have told you what constitutes communication. So you know now what are the components and how you can improve your communication. So I will now go into the details of each of the components, and you will be able to understand how to improve it. Now, listening and hearing what we say. This is listening. For example, the patient is sitting right across the table and you are physically looking, he's looking at you. This is non-verbal communication. It consists of when I'm smiling, a nice smile, gentle smile on the doctor's face really makes the patient comfortable. We should be at the same level. It should not be like that I am on the high pedestal and the patient is sitting on the floor. The same level is always important. An appropriate distance. I'm not saying because of COVID, but of course in COVID times you have to maintain the distance of at least 1 meter. But in a normal situation also, if there is an appropriate distance, that is also healthy. Then remove barriers. Barriers means mobile, TV, radio, your phone, which is disturbing, or if there is any noise coming from the reception room, you have to take care of that. So these are the barriers which will not let you concentrate on what the patient is telling. So you have to remove those barriers. Especially, I will repeat once again, please make your mobile go silent. Don't bother about the mobile. Even if it is ringing, you just leave it. Only if it is an emergency call, then you please tell the patient to excuse you and pick up the mobile phone and talk. And that also for a few seconds. This actually really counts. The patient feels respected. The patient feels that, yes, this doctor is giving importance to what I am saying. But since there is an emergency, so he's taking that excuse. That's okay. Pay attention, give enough time, and appropriate touch, I would like to say about that. Some male doctors or some female doctors, sometimes when they become emotional, when there is a death or something, they just try to, touch the shoulder of the female patient or relative, or they may just touch the hand and just to appease them. Actually, it's kind of a nice thing what they want to do to the patient, but please remember, it may seem to be an inappropriate touch for some male or female. So please try to avoid such kind of touches. Now let us come to questioning and all. So now the patient has come in your chamber, you can imagine, and you are having you have heard the patient's. He's told you his side of the story, and now it's your turn now to get the information from the patient. What do? There are two ways of asking questions. One is the open question and second is the closed question. So what is the open question? Open question is, suppose there is a child in front of me. You ask him, how was your school? And then that child will suddenly start telling, oh, I went to the school in the morning and it was so nice. My friend was there, he did this, I did that, and all those things. So it is a whole story coming out to you. But if you say, was your school good in the morning? That's a closed question. He will say, yes. But he will not elaborate. That is the difference between open question and closed question. So when a question can be answered by yes and no, that's a closed question. We should avoid that because we want information. Then responses and gestures on the part of the doctor to show interest. Oh, this happened. Acha, that happened. Okay. That shows to the patient that you are listening. Reflect back. Then sometimes you had told about that. No, that day she had fever. So that it ensures that patient feels that yes, this doctor has heard everything. Empathize. Suppose a teenager or an adolescent comes to me with pregnancy. I can't be judgmental. I can't say that this girl is bad. You have to be empathetic. You have to put yourself in her situation and listen to her. Never be judgmental. Avoid judgmental words, I've already told. So how can we do this? I think is a repetition. The only thing I would like to say here is that all your indriya, that means the nose, the ears, your mouth, and even the face, skin, everything should be active, and you should be able to look like you are listening and you are really concentrating with all your 5 senses to the patient. That is what is important. And so I will not read through all that. This all we all know. Only thing, Indriya is the very important word. Now, many people, sometimes now there are some problems. Many people, some doctors, they have no time. There are some 100 patients waiting, and each patient comes and enumerates something and he starts writing. There's no time. Or there are some doctors who will listen to the patient and then they are waiting for their turn. When I can talk, when I can tell him the treatment. I know, yes, listen, I have made the diagnosis within the first 10 seconds. But it is important to listen to the patient. This is very important, because if you're thinking about your reply before the person has finished, then you are not listening. And this is noted by the patients nowadays. They are intelligent enough. These questioning skills I have already told in details. So I will once again say that any question which is generally resulting in yes and no answers, please don't ask those kind of questions. Okay. For example, now let us give an example. You phrase the following closed questions, make them open-ended. Are you feeling tired now? This is a closed question, right? So he will say, yes, I'm tired. But if you want to ask and get more story from the patient, how will you ask? You'll ask, how are you feeling? Am I right? So he will start telling all his symptoms. He'll start telling what has happened and what. So that is what we want. Now, isn't today a nice day? Yes, it is a nice day. If I want to make it an open question, I'll say, how is the day today? Then, was the last activity useful? Yes, it was useful. Then, if you want to make it an open-ended question, you say, how was the last activity? Then he will start telling whether it was useful, not useful, what we did. Then, last question. So, everything is fine then? You will say, yes, everything is fine. No, but we want to know how it is fine, how is the patient feeling? So we will ask, how is everything? And then the patient automatically will come forward and say, yes, this happened and this was fine, this was good and that was good. Feedback will be there. You will also get feedback about your treatment and everything. And that's what we want. So there are other ways like nodding your head, maintaining eye contact is very, very important. Keep an open body position. As I told you, don't keep your position like this, hands under this thing like egoistic person. Make encouraging statements, repeat a sentence, like I had said, trying to remember, reflect back, right? Now, we also have to give them support and confidence. We sometimes, the patient is so confident and they are very intellectual. They have some doctors in their family and they have really heard so many things from their doctor friends and doctor relatives. So they don't want to accept that stranger doctor who is sitting right opposite to him. And they want to keep on asking whether he's right or not. So please accept what the patient feels and thinks. Recognize and praise the right things. If they are telling some right things, don't worry, you accept it, you recognize them, praise them. The patient feels more confident that yes, this doctor also knows something. What I've heard he's telling, it is right, so he also knows something. That's how it is. Use very simple language. Don't try to use big words. Lymphosarcoma of intestine and all that. In that movie it was there. So don't use those words. Give relevant information, give suggestions, not commands. Very important. Today, the patient is not our servant. The patient is not below us. We are not gods. So you have to give suggestions that this and this can be done. This is the treatment possible. This is what is going to happen. Would you like to go forward? How would you like to go forward? These are the ways of telling in a very, very polite manner and building up a very nice, courteous relationship with the patient. What are the common mistakes that we doctors make? We sometimes, we just, when we are busy in practice and we have only 5 minutes to see one patient, we just feel, okay, I have told the number of times the medicine has to be taken, and it is overestimated compliance. Whether patient takes or not, we don't know. Believe that the talk is unimportant. Sometimes some doctors, they think, I have made the diagnosis, I have given the treatment, what is the need to talk? Let him come back after that. Talking to many patients also, sometimes what happens, I have seen some doctors have 2-3 beds like that, and they will see one patient, they'll go to the next and then the next, and then they will forget which patient, which examination. But that's how it's going on. Then yes or no questions are not to be asked. Already told, patient questions are not preferred, which is also a wrong thing. And a lot of times, this is very big mistake that we doctors make. Now, how can it be reduced? As I have already told in few, but let me summarize it. So how can we improve our communication skills? Get down on the eye level, be genuinely interested, smile and add chit chat. Become a friend. Nowadays, we say parents have to be friends. Now, even doctors have to be friends with the patients. Trust patients as reliable narrators of symptoms. Be sensitive to the patient's state. Be sensitive that the patient may be hungry. So don't get angry because the patient is, not talking properly or is angry or something. Be sensitive. If the patient is hungry, let them go and have food first and then come back. Be sensitive. That will help you in the long run. You will not get much litigations. Monitor use of jargon. As I've told, no technical words. Explain actions during physical examination. Very, very important, because nowadays, ladies and gents, males and females, they are becoming very, very conscious. All the education, all the good and bad touch videos and all are there, all in the internet. So please, each step you want to take, even male for male or female for female, when you want to examine, please explain it properly. There is a very good serial on Netflix, The Good Doctor. If you look at that serial, you know how doctors, they are involved in their life also, how they understand the patient. It is very good. The Good Doctor on Netflix. Please have a look of one episode at least, and you will see how to get involved with the patient actually. Involve the patients in decision making. That also is shown in that serial. It's a very good serial, The Good Doctor. Now, certain important situations we are going to tell. I'm going to be a little specific now, and I hope I'm not exceeding the time. I'll just finish in 5 minutes. So now, how to deal with a patient when angry patient is there? What are the tools? A patient comes, he's very angry. He has been to another doctor, and the doctor has not done anything. He is very poor communicator, the doctor, and the patient has come to you in a very angry state. What should you do? Listen with concern. Appear calm, maintain eye contact, allow time to ventilate their feelings. Let them say whatever they want to say. Give appropriate reassurance. Don't say, no, don't worry, I will do everything. You don't have to worry. That doctor didn't know anything. I know everything. I will do it fine. Don't worry. Be genuine and conciliatory. Search for hidden agenda. Very important. So I hope everybody has understood this. Nothing to be explained in this. What are the don'ts? For example, now the angry patient has come to you and you say, he has come angry. I'm also getting angry now. I'm going to just blow him left and right. I don't have time for his anger. No, you can't do that. That is the reason why mob psychology comes. So please don't do that. Don't reject the patient just because he is angry. Don't be judgmental that this patient is bad patient. Why should I handle him? Don't be a coward and run away and avoid this patient. Evade the situation, not at all. You have to give first aid. You have to treat the patient. And don't talk too much. Don't overtalk. As I said, just be normal, calm. Then the second, the most important is when we are breaking the bad news. That is a very, very, I should say, the most important part of our practice today. People have stopped accepting death. And that's why when we break bad news about death or bad news about seriousness of the case, then it becomes very, very difficult. And communication skill is the one which makes you escape from the difficult situation. So deliver the news preferably with the loved ones or family members who matter. Not with just any Tom, Dick and Harry, but those who are in the decision-making situation. Sometimes there are 10 relatives along with the patient, and you start talking to each one of them. No, you must be very clear who are the decision makers, who are important for this patient, and then talk to them first. You can answer others also later, but first loved ones and the family members. You have to be as reassuring and effective as possible. You have to tell them from the beginning till the end what has happened. That is very important. It's like a storytelling. Responding to the patient's emotions of anger and grief. They will say, yesterday you were saying the patient is all right, and today you are saying patient is dead. What is this? That is how they respond, and that is the emotion. If I put myself in their situation, I will also ask the same question. Don't you think so? That is what empathy is about. We have to put ourselves in the shoes of the patient and then only respond. Reassure him that you are welcome for the second opinion. Don't be afraid of any second opinion. If the patient doesn't ask for the second opinion, still, if the patient is serious, please tell them, suggest to them, please take a second opinion. I have no problem. Make a clear contract for the next meeting. You must tell them when to meet and why we are meeting. Now, third situation is communication with the staff. It is becoming very important, and there are a lot of negligence cases in which the nurse has given wrong injection, the ward boy has told and given some wrong information. So all these things we have to deal by communication with the staff. We have to become a team with the staff. That means the staff has to understand that this is a team and we cannot do anything to disrespect them. So reinforcing the staff, for a respectful treatment has to be given to the staff. You have to listen to the staff's problems, their handling of mistakes. Suppose somebody has made a mistake. Suppose some nurse has given wrong injection. Please do not scold that nurse in front of the public or the patient, not even in front of relative. Please take her to your consultation room or a meeting room and tell her what the mistake is. Make her lead them and let them discover what they have done. Let them feel the thing and then talk to them in a very proper manner, because they are going to be with you as a team. Encourage teamwork, right? Now, this is about Deepak Gokhale case, and son was admitted for tonsillitis and wrong medicine was supplied by the store in the premises. And Omatex was given instead of Monosef, medicine administered without checking by the sister. So all the hospital doctor and staff, they were proven negligent, and in those days 10,000 was awarded. So such cases are there. Now, what is the carry home message today? This is, I will just not enumerate this. Instead, do I have time, Manjusha, for a video? 2 videos are there. Is it okay if I play them?
Yes,
They're,
ma'am.
I think, 2 minutes and all. They are very, very informative, and so that's why. Okay. This is bad communication.
दोस्तों, तरुणावस्था की डगर पर आप कभी भी फिसल कर गिर सकते हो। उस दौरान आपको रास्ता भी नहीं सूझता कि किस ओर जाएं, किसको बताएं। लेकिन इस मुश्किल डगर पर आपको एक साथी की जरूरत है, ना कि एक डॉक्टर की। आपको इंजेक्शन की जरूरत नहीं, आपको ममता भरे मरहम की जरूरत है। और ये ममता भरा मरहम और कुछ नहीं, लेकिन एक प्यार भरा काउंसलिंग हो सकता है। काउंसलिंग यूं तो कहा जाता है कि एक सबसे बड़ी कला है, लेकिन इस कला को आप आत्मसात कर सकते हैं, अपने से जोड़ सकते हैं। आइए आपको बताते हैं किस तरह से इस कला को आत्मसात करें। सबसे पहले बताते हैं कि कैसे एक बुरे डॉक्टर और एक बुरा काउंसलर
सॉरी
होने
फॉर
से
द
बचा
हिंदी,
जा सकता है।
नाउ इट इज इन इंग्लिश।
अरे रामू यार, 10 बज के जगाया नहीं तूने? अरे यार, रोज की क्या मुसीबत है, सब अपनी प्रॉब्लम लेके आ जाते हैं। देख तो रामू, आज कोई आया नहीं मुसीबत के नहीं।
तनख्वाह ली है तो काम तो करना पड़ेगा कि नहीं? देख लेता हूँ, कोई मुसीबत आ पड़ी होगी जरूर।
और एक चाय का भी बोल देना।
हाँ हाँ, आपके लिए चाय का भी बोल दूंगा। हाँ साहब, एक बहुत बड़ी मुसीबत आ पड़ी है।
ट्रबल। पेशेंट इज कॉल्ड अ ट्रबल।
हाँ तो मैडम बोलिए, क्यों आना हुआ यहाँ पे?
मैं सेकेंड ईयर कॉलेज में पढ़ती हूँ, बीए यहाँ पीछे बीसी कॉलेज में। मुझे कुछ दिन से कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। मेरी कोई तकलीफ है जो मैं किसी को कह नहीं सकती। मैं अपने घर में माँ बाप या दोस्त या मैं किसी को भी कह नहीं पा रही हूँ। मैं इसलिए आपके पास आई थी क्योंकि मुझे आपका बताया गया था। मेरा पिछले 6 महीने से एक लड़का है, उसके साथ मेरा रिश्ता है। मतलब पहले तो हम दोस्त ही थे, पहले तो बस यूं ही बातें होती थी।
हाँ तो एक मिनट हाँ तो हम कहाँ पहुंचे थे, आप फिर से बताएंगे जरा।
रॉन्ग बॉडी लैंग्वेज।
फिर धीरे धीरे लगा कि वो मेरा ज़्यादा ध्यान रखता है, हमारा ज़्यादा अच्छा रिलेशन है। फिर धीरे धीरे हमारा रिलेशन बहुत अच्छा हो गया। फिर बस मुझे तो वही दिखाई देता था, मुझे बस आगे की पूरी लाइफ भी उसी के साथ दिखाई देती है। अभी भी सब कुछ बस उसी के साथ है। पिछले हफ्ते या घूमने भी गए थे और अभी परसों रात पार्टी थी और पार्टी के बाद हमारे बीच काफी गहरे रिश्ते भी थे। फिर
So he is being very
उसके बाद तो
judgmental.
कल से बात ही नहीं कर रहा है मुझसे। मतलब बिल्कुल मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है मुझसे क्या गलती हुई या ऐसा क्या हो गया कि वो मुझसे बात ही नहीं कर रहा है। मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, मैं कहाँ जाऊँ, किससे बात करूँ। वो बात नहीं कर रहा है। 6 महीने का रिश्ता है, एकदम से ऐसा लग रहा है सब बिखर गया है, सब टूट गया है। परसों रात की भी जो बात हुई उसके बाद मुझे इतना डर लग रहा है कि मैं कहीं प्रेग्नेंट ना हो जाऊं या कुछ HIV का कुछ ना लग जाए। मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि मैं किससे बात करूं, क्या करूं। बिल्कुल अंधेरा सा छा गया है। तो बस यही बात करने पे आपके सामने आई हूँ, आपके पास आई हूँ।
अच्छा तुम क्या बात कर रहे थे, आप मुझे फिर से बताइए, मुझे जरा समझ में नहीं आया।
So he is asking her to talk
बोलिए,
again
घबराने की
about
कोई
the
बात
whole
नहीं।
thing.
बोलिए क्या बात कर रहे थे आप, बोलो। अरे हाँ बोल कई दिनों बाद फोन किया। मूवी का प्लान है, चलते हैं ना यार। ले 2 टिकट ले मेरी भी। हाँ चलते। ओके बाय।
Barriers of communication.
अरे साहब ऑफिस के टाइम पे मूवी देखने जाओगे?
अरे किसको पता चलता है।
ऐसा थोड़ी।
देखो आप यंग लोगों की यही तो प्रॉब्लम होती है, बड़ों की तो कुछ सुनते नहीं हो, आप अपने मन माने ही करते हो। अपने एड नहीं देखी है जो गोली वाली वो एड आती है, सब यूज कर लीजिए करे ना यार। चलो आ गए तो देखते हैं क्या कर सकते हैं। आपके लिए गोली ही ठीक रहेगी मेरे ख्याल से। आप गोली ट्राई कीजिए, थोड़ा टाइम हो गया है, ठीक देख लेते हैं। अगर नहीं चलती है तो एबॉर्शन तो है ही हमारे लिए। पहली बात HIV एड्स की, उसकी आप चिंता मत करो। वो सब दिखाते ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है, आपको कुछ नहीं होगा। मैं बोलता हूँ ना, आप अभी जा सकते हो बिंदास होकर, आपको कुछ नहीं होगा। चल बिड़ू, अभी दूसरे को बुला जल्दी, टाइम खत्म।
So sorry for this Hindi version because there is no Malayali version available. This is by Maulik Shah. He has made this video, so this credit goes to Dr. Maulik Shah. So I will just say this, the story is not that important. The girl has come because she's pregnant and her boyfriend is avoiding her. So because of that, she's a little shy. She doesn't know how to tell, and there is no privacy there. That ward boy is also sitting there, and there is no privacy. And the doctor is talking on the phone, and so all these are the barriers, which cause this girl to be a little bit, sorry, I have to go back now. Okay. And the next video which I'm showing, this shows that what is the right way to do the communication. Please note the body language and all in this video.
तो दोस्तों आपने देखा एक बुरे काउंसलर के बुरे काउंसलिंग से दिल पे कैसे कैंची चल जाती है, कैसे इंजेक्शन लग जाता है। इसकी अपार पीड़ा से उस पेशेंट के दिल पे क्या गुजरी होगी वो डॉक्टर तो क्या जाने। लेकिन एक अच्छा काउंसलर बनने के लिए क्या क्या गुण चाहिए, आइए अब आपको दिखाते हैं इस अगले चरण में, जरा ध्यान से देखिए।
मैं 2nd ईयर कॉलेज में पढ़ती हूँ, BA यहाँ पीछे FIBC कॉलेज में। यही बात करने पे आपके सामने आई हूँ, आपके पास आई हूँ।
पहले मैं अपना परिचय देती हूँ। मेरा नाम कविता है और मैं यहाँ पे जो सेंटर में आप आए हो वहाँ पे मैं काउंसलर हूँ। पहले मैं आपकी हिम्मत की दाद देती हूँ कि आपको पता चला और आप यहाँ पे आए। वो सबसे बड़ी बात है कि आप यहाँ पे आके हमारे साथ जो आपकी तकलीफ है वो हमें बता रही है कि आपको ये रास्ता नहीं मिल रहा है। अभी आपको लगता है कि आपके जो जीवन है आपका उसके सामने अंधेरा सा छा गया, आप कुछ समझ में नहीं आता कि क्या कर रहे हो, और हमारे सेंटर का पता चला और आप यहाँ पे आए। यही सबसे बड़ी बात है कि आप यहाँ पे आए, हमारे पास आए, और आपको, मुझे लगता है कि आप अभी बहुत टेंशन में हो, बहुत प्रॉब्लम है ऐसा लग रहा है, आप बहुत टेंशन में हो। और जहाँ तक आपने बताया और मुझे समझ में आया कि सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आपको यही लग रही है कि आपका दोस्त अभी आपके साथ बात नहीं कर रहा है और कोई रिलेशन भी नहीं रख रहा है। और दूसरी बात आपको प्रॉब्लम है, मैं समझ रही हूँ कि आपको लगता है कि आप कहीं प्रेग्नेंट ना हो जाए और आपको बच्चा ना हो जाए। ये दोनों बात है अभी जिसके कारण आप बहुत परेशान हो। मैं सही समझी हूँ या कुछ और भी है?
नहीं जी, आप बिल्कुल सही समझ रही हैं।
और कोई? तो मैं सही समझी हूँ, आपको ये दो ही प्रॉब्लम है। फर्स्ट, आपको पहले मैं बोल दूँ कि आप अभी परेशान हो, आपका दोस्त भी वही परेशानी में होगा कि कहीं उसने भी कुछ गलत तो नहीं कर दिया, इसलिए वो आपके साथ अभी बात नहीं कर रहा है। या पहले वही हमें पता करना पड़ेगा कि उसे यही प्रॉब्लम है या उसके अलावा कोई और प्रॉब्लम है जिसके कारण वो आपसे कोई रिश्ता नहीं रख रहा है और बात भी नहीं कर रहा
शी इज
है।
नॉट बीइंग जजमेंटल।
कारण यही भी हो सकता है और दूसरा भी हो सकता है। उसे मिलने के बाद या अगर हो सके तो आपके साथ आए तो आप उसे भी यहाँ पे लेके आओ तो ज़्यादा पता चलेगा और आपकी परेशानी ज़्यादा कम हो सकती है। दूसरी चीज़ है कि आपको ये लगता है कि आप कहीं प्रेग्नेंट ना हो जाए, बच्चा ना हो जाए, और 2 दिन पहले ही संबंध है, तो बाजार में अभी जो मिल रही है दवाइयाँ उससे ये कर सकते हैं आप कि बच्चा ना हो, आप प्रेग्नेंट ना हो। मैं समझ सकती हूँ आपकी उम्र बहुत बड़ी है, इसलिए ना छोटी है, इसलिए आप बहुत टेंशन में हो कि कहीं बच्चा हो गया तो मैं क्या करूँगी। घर वाले को भी बता नहीं सकते और फ्रेंड भी बात नहीं कर रहा है, दोनों तरफ से परेशानी है, इसलिए आप ज़्यादा टेंशन में हो। लेकिन ये है रास्ता कि आप यूज़ कर सकते हो, लेकिन वो तय आपको करना पड़ेगा कि आपको ये करना है कि नहीं करना है इस्तेमाल। ठीक है, आप परेशानी में हो, हम रास्ता दिखा सकते हैं, लेकिन किस रास्ते पे चलना है और कहाँ पे जाना है वो आपको तय करना पड़ेगा कि ये रास्ता आप परेशान हो इसलिए तय कर सकते हो कि नहीं। वो मैं समझ सकती हूँ कि परेशानी बहुत है, लेकिन आप थोड़ी देर सोचने के बाद आप तय कर लेना कि आपको कौन से रास्ते पे जाना है और कौन सा रास्ता आपके लिए सही रहेगा। ठीक है, और तीसरी,
So I think this is the end. So I will just summarize it because what she actually did was that, what she actually did was that she understood the problem, she confirmed the problem with the patient, and then she suggested. She did not command that I have this, you do this, and you have to go for abortion, this, that. She was not at all judgmental. She was calm and quiet. This is what we have to do. I hope this video was informative to all of you, and let us see. We should look more, we should listen more. Patients are our teachers, and have sound sleep and peaceful life without litigations. I hope all the best for everyone. Thank you so much. And if I've taken more time, I'm really sorry about that because I think Dr. Mulai is waiting. So let's move on.
Thank you, madam, for that wonderful talk. So they say that when you do something, you should be practicing it. And the art of communication was clearly evident from your talk. So I'm sure all our participants have taken a great message. And we look forward to see you in many of our upcoming monthly CMAs, madam. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Always available.
Thank you. Thank you so much, madam. We have a few questions in the chat box, but since it goes to
please,
both speakers, I
please
think
go ahead. I will try and answer there. Yeah, I will try and answer there.
We'll take it after the next talk, madam. So if you're okay with it.
Yes, sure.
Thank you. So now we go on to the second talk of the day. For the second talk, we have yet another great leader of IAP Kerala, George F. Mulail sir. Sir is again the one go-to stop for medical legal issues for all the members of IAP Kerala, right from the senior member to the most junior member. Sir has served as the president and secretary of IAP Kerala, has been an EB member, our election commissioner for so many years, and of course, the our part and parcel of the and our patron of the medical legal group of IAP Kerala. Sir is the leading light, and he's always been there envisioning this group, giving us advice as to how to go forward, what to do, what are the topics to be selected. So, sir, it's great honor to invite you here for your talk on the legal and ethical issues in pediatric practices. Over to Mulail, sir.
Thank you, Manjusha. I just want to make a correction. Actually, now I have stepped down from the Chief Election Commissioner post of IAP Kerala after 13 years because I didn't want to continue it again. Okay, thank you very much. Today, actually, I have given a lot of talks on consent, documentation, communication, etc. Even during the last state conference in Kannur also, I have given a talk on the same thing. And again, at Mumbai also, national conference, I have given the same talk. So I thought I will go for a different approach, for a different topic. And it's a good thing that because Sonia has already touched something about the consent, etc. Now, I'll just start sharing the screen. Once I start sharing the screen, you won't be able to see me because that is the only problem with the iPad. I will try it. And for the last 2-3 times, I had a problem in sharing the screen because it automatically stopped screening. In such a situation, I'm sure that Ranjit will be taking over. He'll be showing the screen projection and I will do the talk. I will now start sharing the screen. Let me see. Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I told you that I have taken a different topic because this is something which we are facing in our day-to-day practice, whether he is in an NICU or ICU pediatrics, or even in the casualty also. We are faced with a certain situation where we should know what we should do actually. So I'm going to talk about ethics and I'm going to talk about law. Actually, sometimes the ethics which we have learned in our profession may be not agreeable to the laws because sometimes they run in a parallel lines and they may not join together, and what is ethical may not be correct in the eyes of the law. So we should have a knowledge, we should have a balancing act between the two in many situations. Actually, this is a situation where a patient is brought in an emergency condition, accident victim, no relative, what will you do? Actually, because many times this is a situation which has been faced by many hospitals in the casualty. Patient is brought, no relatives, and you don't know what to do about that. So what you should do in such a situation? Here, ethics demand that whatever treatment available in the hospital should be given. Because we cannot turn down the patient saying that there is no relatives, we want to do something, and we don't get the consent from somebody else. And actually, somebody had asked a question regarding the child also. So that I'll be coming again because it is there in my slide. So after doing whatever is required to stabilize the patient, then you can refer the patient elsewhere if there is no facility in your hospital. Because if you have got the facility in your hospital, you have to keep the patient there. Otherwise, you have to refer the patient. Actually, it has happened in Kerala also because after keeping the patient for some time and when a problem developed, then they referred the patient and it was too late and the patient died on the way. So how will you require the bill from the patient if he has no money? Here, actually what is happening, because many times, many of the private hospitals, of course, we have to run the hospital, we need money to run the hospitals, but sometimes the patient may not be having money. So what will you do now in such a situation? How will you record the money from the patient? See, many people do not know about this. There is a provision to record from the government. Because in the fundamental rights, Article 21, that is right to freedom of movement and right to life. Supreme Court has already given a good interpretation regarding that. Right to life means right to quality of life, and it is the bounden duty of the government to provide facilities for the patients. And if there is no facility in the government hospital, they are bound to pay for the payment or the expenses incurred in a private setup. There is a judgment which is known as in West Bengal, that is Paramananda, that is Hasim K. Mazdoor Samiti versus West Bengal, government of West Bengal, where the Supreme Court has ordered the government to pay for the expenses of the patient at a private hospital because there is no facility in the government hospital in that particular patient. And even in Kerala also, I have managed to get some money for some hospitals based on this judgment. So there is a provision to record from the government. Now, here is another situation. Here is a patient which patient requires intensive care, but they don't have any money. How will you proceed? And the patient is in a serious condition. Here you have to undertake the case. Again, the ethics as well as the judgment in Paramananda Kataria versus government, Union Government of India, Supreme Court has said that even our Court of Medical Ethics also say that the doctor has got the right to choose his patients, but in an emergency or in a case of accident, you don't have the right. You have to undertake the case. And again, ability to pay cannot be a criteria in emergency care. Because many times care has been not given because of lack of money, and all the judgments have gone against the hospital for not providing care because of the monetary reasons. And here, once a patient is stabilized, you can discuss with the relatives and transfer the patient to a government hospital with the required facility. There you have to discuss with them, arrange, transport, everything. It is because you have to give a brief history of the phone to the concerned referral hospital where you are going to refer the patient, so that they will be ready there. And if the patient cannot be transferred safely, you have to give the best care in your hospital, because once you have undertaken a case, you cannot leave the patient. So starting a life support. This is a case where a baby or a newborn or whatever it is, I won't say it's no hope, but potentially hopeless situation. You have got the facility available in your hospital. So how will you proceed? Life support should be initiated, and not initiating is an irreversible decision. You know why? Because if you think that you won't start the life support, the patient's life is over. You can't do anything about it. Whereas if you start life support in the beginning, you've got option to think whether to stop it later or not, because you've got another option. But if you don't start, means then that option is gone. The patient's life is over. You have not started life support. So it is an irreversible decision if you do not start life support. Whereas you can stop the life support even after some days. Now, this particular case, there is no improvement, but you can't say that the patient is going to die. Another case which requires support comes to the hospital, and there is no other ventilator is available here. So how will you proceed? You may feel that the other patient has got a better chance to survive, and this person chance is less. So you may think that we can this patient from the ventilator and then put the other patient on the ventilator. So how will you proceed? Here, actually, the life support of the first patient has to be continued, because once you undertake the patient, it is your responsibility to take care of the patient. So what you should do in the second case is that you refer the patient after ensuring care elsewhere and try to stabilize that patient and then refer the patient to another hospital with required facility available. That also you have to verify. So how will they proceed regarding stopping of life support? Because you think that the case is hopeless. This is the situation. See, there, approach was different before 2018 March. At that time, see, these are the things. If the relatives feel that the case is hopeless, if the treating doctor feels that the case is hopeless, if both relatives and doctor feel that the case is hopeless, approach the High Court for permission, and an expert committee formed by the court will recommend permission bar refusal, and final decision will be by the High Court. This was based on the judgment, the initial judgment of Aruna Ramayendra Schoenberg case. It happened in Mumbai about weaning off her from the life support. That was the case. This was holding valid till 2018. After that, some amendment came, and this is the current new one. This is post 2018 March. Decision to be taken by the parents or next friend in the best interest of the patient. That is more important. Next friend means the one who has got a lot of interest on the patient, who is in the parental position, or doctors attending the patient. Here you require the presence of two witnesses for taking the decision, countersigned by a first-class judicial magistrate, and should be approved by a medical board set up by the hospital. Because you cannot take a decision by yourself. The medical board has to say that it's a brain death case, virtually no chance of survival. Then only you can the patient. But this is better than what was there in the previous one, pre-2018. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to talk about the entire POCSO Act because you have heard me also talking, and other experts have already given many talks on POCSO Act. But this is just touching the key issue, because among our doctors, just created a lot of problems for the doctor. Even yesterday also, I told you, we had a discussion about this POCSO, what is the duty of the doctor, what the doctor should do, who has to examine the patient, etc., etc. Because that awareness is not there. And this is a case. A child is brought to a pediatrician with vague abdominal complaints. History and examination revealed that she is being sexually abused by a relative. So actually the mother who brought the baby was not knowing about this. The fact was informed to the mother of the child. And in most of the cases of sexual abuse against children, it's usually somebody very close, either a relative or a neighbor, whoever is very close to the family. Not usually the strangers. The percentage of strangers abusing a child is quite less compared to what is being done by the relatives or friends or family members or neighbors. So she wants the doctor to be kept as a secret and requests the doctor, please don't, our family name will be spoiled, the child's future will be spoiled. So what should the doctor do in such a secret? I know many doctors, they have been in trouble because of this. They have been given warning by the courts. Some doctors have been put even in jail. Reporting is mandatory under Section 19 of POCSO Act. That's mandatory. Failure to report is punishable under Section 21 of the Act, and that carries a punishment of up to imprisonment up to 6 months, bar 5 or both. And whom should be reported? It should be reported to the special juvenile police unit of a particular police station, and if it is not there, to the local police authorities. Now, refusal of required treatment by near relatives in an emergency situation. That is, as far as we are concerned, in the case of a minor child or an unconscious patient, what you should do in case of a refusal of treatment, and in routine treatment or how to proceed. Here, mind you, one thing, one is a child who is not able to take a decision for himself. herself. The other one is an unconscious patient. Again, the patient is not in a situation to take a meaningful or informed decision to what we should do. So if it is a case of routine treatment, or how to proceed, or in an emergency, how to proceed. In an emergency, you can try to proceed with the treatment required. Say, even if it is a child also, even if the parents do not consent also, you can proceed with the life of the patient, to save the life of the child, because not even a parent has got the right to kill or do a decision, take a decision which is quite harmful to their own ward. So if there is an obstruction, you can get the help of the police. And in routine treatment, you can approach the court or even Child Rights Commission also. They will give you the permission, because even in Kerala, because I am just giving an example. I don't know whether Dr. Jayagumar is here or not, C. Jayagumar. He had a case, a patient, one of his patients required a bone marrow examination. The father was willing, the mother was not willing. She was not giving consent for doing the procedure. So he gave my phone number to the father. So I told him, I told him that a mother or a father cannot do something to make a decision which is harmful to their ward. So either you go to the Child Rights Commission, it will be faster, or go to the court. They will give you permission, because there are umpteen numbers of incidents. So many cases they have given the judgment like that. And then the father approached the Child Rights Commission, and the mother's objection was that there is a side effect. There can be adverse effect. And the court said, and the person at the chairperson was a lady at the time. She said, see, any procedure will carry something you have to pay, whether it's harmful or beneficial, which is more. And then she ordered a bone marrow examination for the child, and it was done. So that was a must to make a diagnosis for that particular patient and to start the treatment in the correct way. So you can approach the court also. And actually, there was a question, I think, regarding child. I think I must have answered the question now. And one more thing, when you get a confirmed consent, it's always better to get a written consent. You know why? Because suppose you go to the court. What is the proof that you got a consent? So it should be a written consent, ideally, rather than the printed form. Printed form, they may always claim that, they brought a printed form to me, I just signed it. That's all. But if the father is writing the consent in his own handwriting, he cannot later on deny that he hasn't given the consent. And when he gives the consent, all the information should be given there. Otherwise, failing to get a proper consent, because if there is a grave side effect which can happen, grave risk which can happen with a particular procedure, and if you don't mention it, they can always claim that, that it's a known and acceptable or accepted complication, and it is not negligent. Medically, it's not negligent. But if you don't mention it in the consent about this, they can always claim that if I had known about this complication, I would not have given the consent. So who is responsible? The doctor is concerned. So doctor is responsible for that. Even a criminal case can be filed against the doctor. So that's what I'm saying. Consent is also very important, and refusal, everything. So written means they cannot deny that they haven't given they cannot say that they haven't given the consent. Now, here referring a patient to a higher center, how to proceed? Because we think that once we refer a patient to a higher center, our job is over. No, it is our duty to see that the patient reaches the referral hospital in a in a safe situation, safe condition. So how will you proceed? Here you have to contact the higher center and ensure the availability of facility. Actually, there was a case in Kerala years back where a patient had a head injury. He was taken to the government hospital, Medicolegal, if I remember correctly, it was a medical college. there was no ventilator. The patient had to be put on a ventilator. There was no ventilator. The patient was taken to many other hospitals and where there was no availability of ventilators. Here, what could have been done was the initial hospital where they referred to medical college, they could have rang up the higher center to verify that the facility is available there. Tell them that we are sending a patient. Give a brief history to the consultant on the phone so that they will be prepared. There won't be any delay in taking up the patient. Otherwise, if you refer the patient to a center where the facility is already occupied, the ventilator is already occupied, and then they may have to take the patient elsewhere. This is something which is still happening now. So the best thing is that you have to verify that the facility is available. Give a brief history to the consultant on the phone so that they will be prepared to take up the patient. And necessary arrangement for safe support, not by a taxi or anything. If they require a support, you arrange it because it is your duty to see that the patient reaches there safely. Now, death of a patient. These are all, nowadays it doesn't happen, but I just include it. Relatives have no money to pay the bill. Will you release the body or not release the body? You have to release the body because you cannot retain the body with you for asking them to pay the bill and then you can take up the body. No, you can take away the body. No, that is not allowed. You don't have the right to restrain and then take legal steps to record the money from the heirs. Here again, another situation, at the time of discharge, there is not enough money to settle the bill. So will you restrain the patient from leaving the hospital? I still remember when, at that time, of course, this law, everything, legal issues were not there at that time. That was in 1988. When I was working in a hospital, I had to, because even before joining the hospital, I had to treat that baby when I went there to keep my things there. And actually, it was a case of severe sepsis, newborn sepsis, preterm baby. And after some time, anyhow, the baby survived. And after 2 days also, I was wondering why the baby is still kept there in the hospital. I said, I have discharged the patient. Then they told me that they haven't paid the bill. I said, if you are going to keep the baby here, you have to pay for the bill, you have to provide them food, everything, and then you are not going to get it. So you tell them, you just discharge them, and then tell them if they want, they can pay. But anyhow, you don't have the right to restrain the patient from the leaving the hospital because again, it is a violation of Article 21 of fundamental rights, right to freedom of movement. Then you can take legal recourse to recover the money. Thank you very much. I try to keep it as brief as possible because it is lunchtime. Could you listen to the entire thing? Hello?
Yes, sir. Sure. Very clear, sir.
Yes, it was very nice.
No, because because every time last time and all, it got cut off. I didn't know, and I was going on talking, and people could not hear me or see me. That's why I asked you.
No, it is very clear, sir. Clear and.
Whatever.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for that excellent talk. So you have touched upon the many concerns that all pediatricians have in their practice. So I'm sure with your guidance and help, we'll be able to take forward this medical legal group in Kerala. And by the end of the year, I hope we have a good team that is coming up in Kerala to help all the pediatricians in the state and God willing, even outside Kerala in the coming years. And we have a strong support team behind IAP Kerala and the Central IAP with all our leaders and our teachers in it. So we have 2 questions in the chat box, but before we go to that, I can see a few of our distinguished senior pediatricians in the group. I would like to invite them for their comments and any questions, if any. VK Parvati Madam. Madam is one of the most senior pediatricians in Kerala. Madam is even at this age, she's an avid reader. She attends all CMEs and a great teacher too. Madam, welcome to our session and please inviting you for your comments. Madam, you're muted, madam. Madam, can you please unmute?
Host is not allowing participate. Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Manjusha, for calling me. And it was excellent talk by both Dr. Sonia and Dr. George F. Muley. I used to listen to Dr. Sonia, all talks.
Thank you.
Level. Very nice. George F. Muley was my close friend, and I used to hear him always when he is talking. So both were very good, and nothing more to add. It's late evening now. Good night. Thank you.
Good night, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Balachandran, sir. So was a very active secretary for the past 2 years.
Thank you, Manisha. Actually, I was transferring that membership fee of IAP Medicolegal Group. I just actually, I was discussing with Muleel sir about the POXO Act problems for our casualty medical officers in our hospital, government hospitals. Because in spite of their busy casualty, they have to fill that form, 10 pages form of POXO Act, that rape case, if a rape case comes. So we should do something for that, for the CMOs, because it is the responsibility of the gynecologist or the obstetrician to come and attend this this case, not the CMOs. So for that, I think the medical chapter have to think about it. Today's topic, both were very good. I had the privilege to hear from Sonia ma'am the same topic somewhere in North India, I think, about communication skill. But I couldn't see the video that time. And Moilel sir also, that his talk, I heard this about the, actually I was discussing with sir all these aspects every time if I got a doubt with Moilel sir. Thank you, sir, for all the advice. So I wish this medical legal chapter of IAP Kerala will take off from today. We will have a good membership. Thank you.
So I would like to comment.
Bala, I didn't tell your name actually. I just said somebody here in this group talked with me yesterday.
So, Dr. Bala, I would like to make a comment on this. Since you said that any POXO case, when it comes to your hospital, there are a lot of forms and all you said, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the thing is with POXO, actually, it is a very friendly, doctor-friendly act. I think we will need to take a CME with you because there are a lot of misconceptions regarding that. So the only thing I wanted to convey to you right now is that the CMO or the gynecologist or pediatrician, it does not matter who sees the patient. If it is an adolescent, now we are treating pediatricians and adolescent specialists, we are treating till 18 years. So it does not matter if the patient comes to a pediatrician or a CMO, they have to look at it. You cannot shift the responsibility to gynecologist. Yes, there is one provision that there is a infrastructure and a guideline to be set up by the hospital people themselves. They should have certain doctors, earmarked for POXO patients. The area should be earmarked. And there should be help available 24/7 in that area for the hospital. There is exact guidelines are there. So if you follow them, I think nobody will have problem, neither the CMO nor the gynecologist. We will have
actually,
a CMO.
Actually, Bala's problem is not that actually. See, his thing is that, in our government, he is working in a government hospital.
Right.
The government hospital casualty is so busy and there is only one doctor. So that is his problem. He is saying that the writing, examining and filling up all the forms means all the other patients will be waiting. And
yeah, exactly. That is what I'm saying. So the CMO doesn't have to do it. There has to be a team of doctors earmarked for this kind of a POXO type of a patient.
Let me complete.
Okay.
See, for that, the government has to make arrangements. See, the government has got a certain rules and regulations, etc., etc. That is his problem. So the government has to make an arrangement to have so many doctors posted for that only. And here there are a lot of shortage of doctors in the government service.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
That is the
different
problem. And now with the COVID also, they are so busy that all these things.
That's the problem, madam.
Because
The gynecologist is already available in the hospital. In
Okay.
a hospital, that they will be there free. They will be sitting free unless there is a delivery. So even then they won't come.
Yeah.
To the CMO, but CMO cannot spend even a second for any other case other than.
I understand because this is a medical legal case. So, and it's a medical legal emergency, in fact. So I can understand your problem now. Yeah.
So I was just telling him that, medical examination is given either both in POCSO as well as a criminal procedure code 164A. So I told him. So these are both the things, specifically what is given in POCSO. Otherwise, you have to follow 164A of CRPC.
Thank you.
I think somebody has put a question regarding casual consent.
Yes, sir.
See, casual consent, you are going to be in trouble in the court because, as I said, the importance of consent is that is your documented proof that you are told the patient these are the things which I am going to do, what are the alternatives, as she has already said. And what is, and suppose something happens which you haven't mentioned, which is non-complication of this thing, medically acceptable, but if you haven't mentioned it, you can be in problem. Because the main issue is that court will say that if you had informed that complication, they would not have agreed to the procedure, and then this thing would not have happened. So who is responsible? It is the doctor who is going to be responsible. So casual consent has got no validity. And I will say that printed also you should have a different type of consent for different types of procedures. And if you are doing something and if you are correcting the procedure or changing the procedure, you have to get a fresh consent. Don't cut it and overwrite on that. So many things you have to, I think Ranjit will take the lead to enlighten, we have to enlighten our people because I'm getting so many cases where now also even the lawyers do not know the importance of consent. In Kerala also, they don't know the importance. Otherwise, you would have lost a lot of cases. They think that one signature is enough. Yeah, that patient has given the consent. So nobody is raising an issue regarding the consent. Very few lawyers are raising it. There are cases where issue of consent has been raised. So it's a very important thing. And see, what are you don't say that you have got the consent, but if there is a real fall in standard of care means that is not going to protect you also. Having a consent is not going to protect you. But having you have done the correct thing, there is no fall in standard of care, but you don't have a consent for the complication that happen, then there also you are going to be in trouble.
Thank you, sir. That was a lively discussion that we had. Now I invite our Riyaz sir, National EB member. Sir has joined us. Sir, can you please give us your comments and thoughts?
Sorry for joining late. Actually, I was on duty, but I was listening to Sonia Madam and George Mulel sir. Actually, this area is one which is neglected, but will come to our help. The knowledge as well as the activity in this group will definitely help in times of difficulty. And I should congratulate Ranjit as well as Mulel sir for making this group more active. And I think there will be more training programs on how to deal with the medical legal issues. And almost a few years back, we conducted workshops on this child sexual abuse in a large scale. I wish we should have some refresher training in that also. The issues which Bala has raised and all those things. Actually, it is when it comes to practice, it is very difficult. So I wish this year will be a very good boost to the medical legal issues in IAP Kerala. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Binoy Kuriyakar, sir. Sir is there. Sir is one of the senior most pediatrician in IAP Kerala. Binoy, sir, please.
Yes, we should take it forward. Repeated CMEs are necessary. Thank you. It's
Thank you,
very
sir.
late now. Very late now. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wishes. Now, I invite our captain, Vijay Kumar, sir. So this group was the brainchild of sir's action plan, presidential action plan for the year 2022. So, sir, would you please like to comment and tell us how we are going to go forward with this group?
Kumaran വെറുതെ എഴുതി വെച്ചിട്ടേ ഉള്ളൂ. ആളെ സ്ഥലത്തൊന്നും തോന്നുന്നില്ല കണ്ടിട്ട്. മാത്രമേ കാണുന്നുള്ളൂ.
Gopi Mohan sir is also there. He was a treasurer. Gopi Mohan sir. Yeah. In that case, for the closing remarks, I would. Gopi Mohan sir, are you there?
Yeah, Nisha, I'm there. Yeah. I enjoyed the session.
Would you please give your comments and thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed the session. It was a very good session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, for the closing remarks, I would call upon our respected chairperson of the National Medicolegal Group, VK Goyal, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for again inviting me. I am really thankful to you, and really it is a very nice start. The Kerala branch and Kozhikode branch has started, and I think it will go a long way, and definitely our pediatricians will learn a medical level knowledge in a nice way in the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I know we are the participant strength has come down. Still, it's a request from the medical legal group, chaired by our very own Ranjit, and patron, our mentor is George Mulail, sir. So the team would like to request you to encourage your fellow members of IAP in all branches to become members of the medical legal group, not just to increase the strength of the group, but to be part and to be continuously in the loop, to know for yourself. And because we are all practicing defensive medicine, it's come to a stage where you're scared to see a patient. So that should not be there, as Sonia madam said. So we should be able to do justice to our patient as well as protect ourselves, and also advise our fellow members, both in IAP and even in the other organizations, sister organizations that we have. So I request all of you to become members, whoever are not, and then encourage your branch members also to take membership. We have a very nominal fee and a very easy method of a Google form. The Google form link will be passed on in all the groups. You're supposed to send a screenshot of your payment to the two numbers, one of which is madam's number there. And if you could also send a screenshot to Dr. Ranjit's number or my number, we would follow up about the memberships, and hopefully we'll keep a target of a couple of months to be able to form a group, form a branch in Kerala with all the advice of our seniors. Thank you so much. It's been a great day, a happy day, where we have inaugurated the Presidential Action Plan of Medical Legal Awareness, one of the most hot and important topics that is needed for a pediatrician. I'm sure many more will join in the coming sessions where we would be having good academic discussions. Thank you so much. I sincerely thank Goyal sir and Sonia madam for their time, for joining us today, Mulail sir for being our mentor and patron, Dr. Ranjit for taking keen interest in the group and helping arrange all the CMEs that we are going to have, Riyaz sir for joining us, Mohandas sir for IAP Kozhikode taking up this responsibility of the inaugural session. So it's a good start that we have here with Vijay Kumar sir as our captain, as our head, and at the helm. I'm sure we'll be taking it to greater heights. Thank you so much. Good night, all of you. See you next month for the next monthly CME. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Manjusha, for the excellent moderation and excellent
I was
presentation
going
as
to say
last
that.
master ceremony.
Thank you, Manjusha. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you and good night to all. Thank you so much.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, sir.